What's up, guys? Murph Dog Training here to throw you yet another bone on some health and fitness advice. Today we're going to be talking about fats, okay? Been promising it for a minute. Here we go. 3 kinds of fats: trans fat, unsaturated fat, and saturated fat, and we're going to break them down in this video. Trans fat, okay? This is also known in scientific terms as dog shit. What else? Garbage. The other name for it, worthless. Okay, this is trash, guys. What trans fat is a fat that has been changed through hydrogenation, and what it does is its only purpose is to increase the shelf life of whatever shitty food that they're making this with. Okay, leads to a ton of diseases, and it's not good for your heart. It's not good for your organs. It's just dog shit overall. Do not eat any of it, okay? Not even, I'm gonna have a little bit on Monday, maybe a little bit on Thursday. You're gonna find this kind of food in a lot of processed bakery foods, pies, crusts, things like crackers and whatnot. So if you're getting those foods, make sure you're looking at the back of the box and they're not putting that shit in there. All right, next, unsaturated fat. Okay, this is liquid in room temperature. And there's different types of unsaturated fat. The first one we're gonna talk about is monounsaturated fat. You're going to get these fats from things like avocados, nuts, vegetable oils such as canola, olive, and peanut oils. And this is potential to help lower your LDL, also known as your bad cholesterol, and it's going to keep your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, high. Okay, now the only way to get those effects is going to be combined with limiting the kinds of saturated fat you have. Now this is all old information. We're going to talk about the new information with this once we finish with saturated fats. Okay, but keep in mind that's still how this is working basically as far as your LDL and your HDL. Okay, so combine that with limiting your saturated fats to a point, and again we'll talk about this later, and that's going to help get you those better cholesterol scores. Now you're going to find polyunsaturated fats as well in this category, and these are coming from omega-3s and omega-6 fatty acids. Okay, this is also going to help lower that LDL and raise your good cholesterol combined with lower amount of saturated fat diet. Okay, you're going to find these foods in plants such as soybean oil, canola oil, walnuts, flax seeds. You're also going to find it in fatty fish and shellfish as EPA and DHA. Okay, this is your omega-3s. Your omega-6, this is all coming from mostly liquid vegetable oils such as soybean, canola, and corn. Okay, now these are a lot of fats that I recommend. They're great, and the old school method was to get all of your fats from unsaturated and keep the saturated to a minimum. Ton of studies coming out that's showing that a lot of that is bullshit, and we'll go into that coming up in this next part. The saturated fats. Okay, what is this? This is solid in room temperature, and it's mostly coming from your animal foods such as meat, cheese, and milk. Okay, you're also going to find it in coconut oil, palm oil, and cocoa butter, your tropical oils, things like that. Things to watch out for are that they're putting these in things like desserts, bakery items, creams, whipped cream, coffee creamer, things like that. Okay, they're going to be coming from that tropical oil. Now, saturated fats has a potential to raise your cholesterol. Now, the old school method, like we were talking about before, the reason they said this was so detrimental was because supposedly it raised your LDL to high levels, and that is what was causing those heart issues and your cardiovascular health. But we talked about those studies earlier, and yeah, your LDL goes up, but it's the type of LDL. The only type of LDL that goes up with these foods, the meat, cheese, milk, so forth, is the large buoyant LDL. Now, multiple studies all show that this type of LDL is going to have no risk at all of heart disease. So I really want you guys, if you're interested in this subject and understanding why all these saturated fats and all this bullshit was coming out, I really want you to look into this subject further, and you're going to find a rabbit hole that runs very deep into just corruption, greed, money and just ways to get Americans from eating animal fatty foods, things like this, and transferring them over to eating boxed, processed dog shit, cereals, sugars, and other addictive things. Now, that's not what this channel is about, so we're not going to talk about that here. This is more for the health and fitness side. But if you guys are looking for some entertainment or you want to understand the subject more, just look into it. Do some Google searches and try and figure out why you've been lied to all these years about how saturated fat is bad and how you should be switching to carbohydrate diets. Okay, so look into that and you guys make the judgment call for yourself. But overall, what do I recommend? I recommend staying away from the trans fat, like we said, and getting most of your fats from unsaturated, but a good portion as well from saturated, okay? Things like animal meats. You know, I don't mess around with cheese and milk. That's not my thing, but I do get a lot of fat from animal meat, okay? And it's gonna be good for you, it's gonna be healthy for you. And doing that with your unsaturated fats, your avocado oils, your omega-3s, omega-6s, you're gonna have a lot more energy than if you were to stay away from all kinds of fats. Okay, now I've talked a lot about keto before and how I don't like it, which is true. I'm not a big fan at all. I'm a fan of a healthy balance of carbs, protein, and fat, and that includes saturated fat. Now, to get the heart problems, the heart diseases that you guys have been hearing about, and a lot more studies are coming up that it's not so much saturated fat, but it's saturated fat when combined with all this processed sugar bullshit and carbs, which is really funny when you go to think about it, because the whole point of getting America and its people to move from saturated fat to the processed foods was because saturated fat was so bad. And what's in that processed food, like your cookies, your cakes, and whatnot, it's all sugar, processed carbs with the saturated fats, which gives you what the real danger is. So again, guys, that's it on the fats for now. You have my recommendation, and I also want you to look into some of this stuff with the saturated fats and see what you guys think. Have a good one, guys. Bye.